Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. I'm starting off this jalapeno popper spinach dip stuffed chicken breast with some cooked bacon. There's about 6 slices of bacon I chopped up. I'm just cooking in a pan on medium heat. This is 8 ounces of neufchatel and a few tablespoons worth, probably about a quarter cup of light sour cream. Neufchatel is a lighter kind of cream cheese relative. I don't know the specific difference, but here I'm adding Tony Chachere's, Cavender's Greek all-purpose seasoning, my Yellowstone cracked pepper and garlic seasoning, paprika, and I'm trying to mix the creamy stuff together first, get the seasonings mixed well, and then I'm adding in half of a block of frozen spinach, which I microwaved in the microwave for about 2 minutes on medium-high heat. I didn't want to burn it. I rarely work with frozen spinach, but I think I will be using it more in the future. Now, this is where the jalapeno popper idea comes in. I put 3 giant cloves of garlic, half of a red onion, and then 2 seeded and deveined jalapenos in my mini food processor, and I chopped it up. I just threw that in the skillet with that chopped up bacon. I used the bacon fat to cook it down. It took a few minutes for it all to kind of turn translucent. The jalapenos turned like a weird, that kind of like not so vibrant green. The onion was translucent, and I then mixed it in with the spinach and everything. Luckily the heat of those jalapeno and aromatics helped loosen up the cream cheese or the neufchatel and the filling a little bit, so it was easier for me to spread here. Here I'm just stuffing the chicken breasts. So these are 4 very large, they're about a pound each, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I butterflied them horizontally, and I then covered them in plastic wrap and pounded them out with the largest, heaviest object I could find near me. I clearly seasoned them on all sides, inside and out, with Tony Chachere's as well as my Greek all-purpose seasoning. I then laid down a good layer of shredded Italian seasoning mix, and then I put in a quarter of the filling. I then topped it with some more of the cheese, folded it over, and I'm using the bottom side as the top just because I didn't want to have this filling leak out from like holes. If you notice the one that's on the tray, clearly the bottom part was not able to cover it all the way. That's why it's on the top. Had I put them on the pan the other way around, most of my filling would have been on the pan. And although I'm sure that would have made great crispy little pieces to eat, that's not what I was trying to make here. So, and I do want to point out, I don't know if y'all noticed, you probably didn't, I switched from a bag of cheese to the bowl because I did not want to have to do this keeping one hand dry, keeping one hand clean. I wanted to just be able to get messy, get it done, get it in the oven, and move on. So I put it in a bowl. This is about 3/4 of a bag of Italian blend shredded cheese from Walmart. I didn't even use everything that was in the bowl. I think I had like a tablespoon left after all this. Now I do end up cooking these in the oven at 350 for, I think I did about 45 minutes. I would suggest doing 30 to 35 minutes. If you see how they're a little pink looking once they're on the tray, that's from the seasoning. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So when it was cooked, I expected it to turn like golden brown, like chicken typically does. Well, no, it was fully cooked and I kept cooking it. So they were a little on the dry side, but just a little bit at 45 minutes. So like I said, check it around 30 to 35 minutes. I would not go over 40 minutes in a 350 degree oven with these, but they came out really delicious. You could totally cut each one in half because they are huge and serve it with a side of rice. I would also suggest putting some Alfredo sauce over them when you serve them. So here we're moving on to my Philly cheesesteak stuffed bell peppers. In this bowl, I had half of a red onion, a full red bell pepper, and about 6 to 8 baby Bella mushrooms. Everything was washed, peeled, cleaned, chopped in a medium small dice. I went ahead and added a couple tablespoons of raw minced garlic, and I also added my Tony Chachere's, my Greek all-purpose seasoning. I also added a little bit of smoked paprika. I added probably about a tablespoon of oregano, and then I added, of course, my Yellowstone cracked pepper and garlic seasoning. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and add, this is 85% lean ground beef. Walmart had a bunch of yellow stickers, and I snagged as many as I could afford at the time because I just thought that was a perfect fat percentage for what I want to do and where I'm at. So I'm adding the exact same seasonings that I added into the vegetables for this dish onto the meat. I cooked it till it browned evenly. Then I added the vegetables back in, and I'm going to go ahead and add in this neufchatel. I will say, I wish I had drained some more of the fat out of the beef before I put the vegetables in. I did off camera put a paper towel in there to absorb some of the fat, but it didn't do as well of a job as I needed it to, but it still came out really good. It wasn't super greasy, just I wanted it to be a little less greasy. The neufchatel is a lower fat content than cream cheese, but it helped bind this together along with that half a bag, so about a cup of Monterey Jack cheese. And these bell pepper shells, these are whole bell peppers. I cut them in half, and I had already baked them like that for about 15 minutes just to get them softened. Now I'm making some Asian marinated cucumbers. That was allulose that looked like sugar. It's a sugar replacement. And then red wine vinegar. I would suggest using rice wine vinegar, but I did not have any. Then I did soy sauce, and this is some sweet chili sauce. This recipe, you could technically consider it keto because you're not drinking the sauce. It's just a marinade. And the volume of sauce to the amount of sweet chili sauce that I put in there really isn't that much. But if you're to drink the sauce, no, it's not going to be keto. So it was sweet chili sauce, there was sesame oil, and then some of these garlic chili crisps and some fresh garlic as well. And here I'm just pouring it over. I chopped up some mini cucumbers. This was an entire bag, and I shook it around. This was delicious, and I'm going to reuse the marinade. Here are the chicken breasts, and here are the Philly cheesesteak peppers. It was all so delicious, and in the back you see my yogurts. I did not film that. So anyway, thank y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.